Welcome to the life you crave. Simple and sustainable weight loss for women who have better things to do than diet. I'm your host, Leah Pinelli. I help ambitious, badass women stop overeating, overworking, and overgiving to lose weight from a place of love. I'll help you simplify weight loss, end your overwhelm, and create the life you crave. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe to this podcast. Let's get started.
Hey, hello, and welcome to the Life You Crave podcast. I'm so happy to be here with you today because I am recording this the Monday after the Thanksgiving holiday, and we are rolling into December. And I know that this is a time of year for so many of us, so many of the women in my community where we struggle, right? We have a lot of anxiety around things like really wanting to enjoy the holiday and really wanting to, quote unquote, eat like a normal person, like just have one piece of pumpkin pie and then be done with it. But instead, that leftover pumpkin pie just keeps calling and calling and calling to us. Or if your thing isn't the pumpkin pie, maybe it's the leftover mashed potatoes, right? With gravy, whatever the thing is. And then we know that we're rolling into December, which is just going to be, already the festivities have started with cakes and cookies. I know for me, I absolutely love kringle, which is that circular, if you haven't seen it, I think it's a Danish tradition, and it has like almond paste inside. I love almond paste. I love marzipan. That stuff, man, I can't get enough of it, right? Eggnog with brandy, right? There's so many things that we can look forward to and we can love. And yet there is an internal struggle, right? There's an internal struggle here because we are afraid. We're afraid of it. We're afraid of the eggnog. We're afraid of the kringle. We're afraid of the pumpkin pie. We're afraid of the mashed potatoes. There's freaking fear here. Now, if you really think about this, you guys, this is antithetical to how we were designed. Humans were not designed to fear food. In fact, we are designed to seek out food and eat it, particularly food that tastes good. So on today's episode, I really want to share with you a way of approaching holiday eating that is totally different than any way you've ever approached it before. The way that I teach my clients how to approach holiday eating, and in fact, this is what I teach my clients overall in general in life, is that we have to actually reinvent ourselves. We cannot walk into this holiday season as the same woman that you were last year or the year before or the year before that or 10 years ago or even 20 years ago. We cannot keep on walking in to our lives with the same identity, with the same thoughts and feelings and behaviors, because when our thoughts are the same and our feelings are the same, we're going to take the same actions, and our actions are always what gets us our results. So if you want to go into this holiday season and not gain a bunch of weight, but also not be on a diet during the holiday season, because who wants that? And also, by the way, not sign up for another diet in January either. If you want to really, truly enjoy the holiday season and beyond, then you have to actually approach it differently by reinventing who you are in this holiday season. Okay, so what exactly do I mean by that? Well, most people think in terms of actions, right? So I don't want to gain a bunch of weight over the holidays, so therefore I'm not going to eat any of the things that taste really good. Or I'm going to practice portion control, right? Which is what a lot of people will say. So what we do is we focus on taking different actions. And therein is where the mistake lies. Because, and this is one of my favorite sayings, I don't know who originally said it, but I repeat it all the time. And the saying is, you will never outperform, perform meaning action, you will never outperform your own identity. I'm going to say that again. I've said it before on the show, and I will say it again over and over and over and over. You will never outperform your own identity. So why does that matter? Because your performance is simply the actions that you're taking. And you might be able to white knuckle your way through the holiday season without gaining a pound or two, right? But come January, come February, come March, if you are still the same person with food, I promise you the cycle's just going to repeat itself, right? I mean, I don't even have to promise this to you. You know it already, right? If you're listening to my podcast, you're like, yeah, Lee, I've been there, done that. And I'm right there with you, right? Me too. So let's take a different approach, right? Let's take an inside out approach. If we know that just changing our actions isn't enough. And by the way, changing your actions could be, I'm going to work out more. I'm going to start Weight Watchers. I'm going to do keto. I'm going to blah, 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 all the things, right? Instead of focusing on the action, let's focus from the inside out. So here's what I mean by this. In order to change your identity, because you'll never outperform your own identity. So in order to change your identity, you have to start with examining what are you thinking about? Because, so I teach a system of transformation to my clients. It's called the Level Up System. And I'm going to go through parts of it today. But the underpinning of this system, the premise of the Level Up System of transformation is that your thinking is what creates your identity. As I've said on the show before, your identity, the definition of identity is simply who you think you are and who you think other people think you are. That's the definition of identity, who you think you are and who you think other people think you are. Fascinating, right? So you can see right there that your identity is simply made up of what you think about yourself. So this is a beautiful thing because we actually have some control over our thinking. Now, I always say to people, you don't necessarily have control over the first thought that pops into your mind, though the first thoughts that pop into our mind are programmed basically by, it's different for different people, but it's usually programmed by our family of origin, our culture, our community, our religion, if that's relevant. That all kind of happens as, in like the first 0 to 3 years of your life and then 0 to 7 and then, beyond. It's pretty well ingrained. So the good news is those might be the first thoughts that come in, but then you always have control over the next thought. You always have control over whether or not you're going to continue believing that first thought. So our thoughts are so freaking powerful when it comes to shifting our identity. And in order to be different with food, in order to take different actions with food, you have to actually shift your identity in order to make it stick, in order to make it happen forever and for life. That's how it works. So how do we do that? How do we start shifting our thoughts? Well, there's a lot of ways to do this. There are many approaches to do this, and I teach various approaches. But the one that I want to focus on today is the most important. It's the mother of all of the methods of changing your thinking. And I'm going to share it with you today. And I'm also going to invite you today to a free workshop. So if you are listening to this before December 14th at 4 p.m. Pacific, 2023, we are hosting my friend, Robyn Eckersley. She is a master vision coach, badassery completely. We are doing a free workshop. It's a free masterclass at the TLYC Social Club and Masterclass event. It's virtual. It is free. All you have to do to sign up is head over to leapinelli.com. That's LIAPINELLI.com/TLYC social. And you will have an opportunity just to sign up there and you will get your registration ticket and you can join us. Robyn is going to be leading us through an in-depth masterclass on how to do exactly what I'm about to tell you what to do, but it will be more interactive so you can get support in the masterclass. So the mother of all methods for shifting your thinking and like really shifting it, like rocket fuel, right? My mentor always says it's like rocket fuel on your dreams, is to craft a vision. Now, I know some of you are like, wait a minute, what? Like, aren't you going to tell me I need to like stop eating carbs? Are you going to tell me that I can never eat sugar again for the rest of my life? What are you talking about? A vision, Leah Pinelli. What are you talking about? I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a freaking vision. And like I said, yes, this is nonsensical. This is contrary to everything that you've ever done in order to stop overeating and lose unwanted weight. Am I right? Okay, but think about, has what you've done up until now worked in the long run? If you're listening to me, the answer is probably no. I know it was for me before I figured this out. It was a hard no. It was like, no, this doesn't work for me, right? So what does work? This is what worked for me. I'm going to tell you what worked for me, and I'm going to tell you what has worked for so many of my clients, which is why I created the level up system so that it's a replicable, proven system that you can go through and actually get the results you want, not just with weight loss, not just with overeating, but literally any facet of your life, from health to vocation, to relationships, to time, to money. It works. It's a system of transformation. Step one is vision. So what does this mean? Step one is vision. What I mean by step one is vision is you have to have a picture in your mind of what you really want. Now, when I say this, I often think to myself that a lot of us, when we think about what we really want, like for me, I'm like, I just want to look like Elle Macpherson, right? Like, can you just give me a supermodel body? Like, that would be fantastic, you know? Or even better, J-Lo. Like, give me J-Lo. I would be so stoked. I mean, who wouldn't be so stoked to look like J-Lo? Beyonce, I'll take it, right? So we have these ideas of, oh, well, what I really want is I want to look a certain way. And it might not be conscious. You might not even be aware of it. I remember when I was a kid, I always talk about this, my sister and I, we would cut out pictures of supermodels and like put it on the refrigerator door to try to motivate us, quote unquote, from not eating, which is just, you know, obviously a ridiculous thing to do. So if you're thinking that, that's okay. That's a great place to start. But what I really want you to envision when you are envisioning what you want, what I really want is for you to think about, what do I want my eating behaviors to look like? Meaning, who do I want? I'm putting on lotion while I'm recording this, you guys. So if you hear me clicking in the background, I can't stand how dry my hands are in November. So I want you to really think about, who do I want to be with food? Like, what do I want my behaviors to be like with food? For example, if you're eating a lot of, let's say, you know, for lack of a better word, a lot of junk food. Let's say I have one client, I'll use her as an example. She had an M&M and a Pringle habit, right? And we call this junk food, meaning because it's highly processed. So typically ultra processed foods don't have a ton of nutrient density, therefore we might call them junk. So let's say you're eating a lot of Pringles and M&Ms. What is that a part of this vision? Do you want to be a woman? She would do it while she was driving, by the way. So do you want to be a woman who has a Pringle and M&M habit while you're driving? Does that feel good to you? Does that feel like you are living the life that you crave? I think for most of us, that would be a pretty firm no. Like, no, I don't want to have a Pringle and M&M habit. But, and I'll use myself as an example here, I love homemade cheesecake. Of course, I'm not making it because if you know me, you know I don't cook. But my mom's homemade cheesecake. I love cheesecake. I love ice cream. We have a great, like little family-owned ice creamery here in where I live in Southern California. I love being somebody who can go and order a small portion, and I say small purely because my body, it doesn't agree with me. Or I can take a small piece of cheesecake, have a small piece of cheesecake, and enjoy the F out of it, okay? I can enjoy those two things and move on. Like, not think about it anymore, right? My vision of myself is being a woman who can have an entire cheesecake in her refrigerator and not be tempted beyond one piece. Now, I know for a lot of you are like, yeah, right, that's not possible. I promise you, it is freaking possible. It is possible because I've lived it and my clients live it too. So I'm not thinking, my vision is not, you know, J-Lo's body. My vision is I want to be somebody who can enjoy a piece of cheesecake and then move on. Just have one piece and move on with my life, right? I want to be somebody who eats more vegetables. I want to be somebody who eats really nutrient-dense foods. I want to be somebody who exercises. You get the idea, right? It's focusing on the actions that you would love to be taking. Now, I think for most of you, it's not, I just would love to be somebody who could stick to my ketogenic diet. Like, that's not usually the vision that's really resonating for us, because what we're after is freedom, right? We're after freedom. We are after feeling good. And restriction is the opposite of freedom. And restriction is not usually conducive for feeling good. So do you see how already you are starting to shift your entire approach with food? Instead of coming from a deprivation and restriction state, which is not what you actually want, but you think if you do that, you're going to look like J-Lo, and then you never do look like J-Lo, so then you just go back to eating the things. That doesn't work, and it's a cycle that you don't deserve to be on. We're going to switch it, and instead we're going to say, I'm going to dream up a vision. I want you to take out like a paintbrush in your brain and start working with the watercolors here, right? Like, make a different picture in your brain. Like, let's let J-Lo go, live her beautiful J-Lo life, and let's us focus on the lives we crave. And let's us design eating behaviors that feel really good to us and that feel aligned with who it is that we most want to be with food. You guys, the byproduct of that is in every case of every woman that I've worked with, the byproduct is weight loss. But the thing is and everybody wants to come to me for weight loss, and I get that. I got the corner on weight loss. I do know how to help people lose unwanted weight. But really, that's not what you're after. What you're after is a different life that results in a body that doesn't carry unwanted weight. So you've got to visualize that life. You've got to get really, really clear on what do my eating behaviors look like. Write it down. Write it down. You want to actually create like a narrative. And the reason that you want to create that narrative is because we're starting with vision and getting a really clear vision of who do I want to be over the holidays? How do I want to feel after I'm done eating Thanksgiving dinner? How do I want to feel after the holidays are over? I don't want to feel like a, bloated stuffed sausage. That doesn't sound fun or good to me at all. I want to feel really good in my skin. And I want to have enjoyed the holidays like a woman who knows how to enjoy real pleasure in her life without saying, oh, I have to weigh this or measure this. Like, no, thank you, girl. No, thank you. I have better things to do with my time. So your assignment, I'm giving you a little assignment here in the Life You Crave today. Your assignment is to write down for yourself, who do I want to be with food? What do I want my eating behaviors to look like? And allow yourself, steep yourself in this, marinate in this vision. Come to the workshop on December 14th, 2023, 4 p.m. Pacific. You can sign up at leahpinelli.com/TLYC social. And really start to work with that vision. Now, of course, that's just step one in my level up system. There are steps that follow it, but that's where you can start. And if you're listening to this after December 14th, 2023, we have a TLYC social club every single first Thursday of the month at 4 p.m. Pacific. It's always a TLYC social club and masterclass where I am training you, or we have guest speakers coming in like we do this month, training you on how to actually reinvent your life, reinvent yourself, going through the process of this system of transformation, the level up system of transformation that is proven to work. If you knew me, and some of you did, if you knew me 10 years ago, I'm a totally different person, right? I mean, not unrecognizable necessarily, but I've come alive at the age of 45, as opposed to starting to feel like I needed to go through some kind of crazy midlife crisis. So the point being, you guys, start with vision. Start there. I promise you it's the first step. Focus on who you want to be with food. Come and join the masterclasses. They are free always. They're here for you. And go and enjoy the F out of the holidays. Like, go and enjoy them. Because real enjoyment, and I've done episodes on this in the past, real versus false pleasure, real enjoyment means that you're actually enjoying every step of the way. Before you eat, while you're eating, and after you have eaten. That is real pleasure. Okay, my loves, I hope to see you all on December 14th at 4 p.m. Pacific, TLYC Social Club. If I don't see you there in December, I know I'm going to see you in 2024. Ciao.
You've been listening to The Life You Crave. I lost 30 pounds years ago without dieting, willpower, or deprivation. I'm on a mission to help other women, including you, do the same. You can book a free weight loss strategy session with me over at leahpinelli.com. That's LIAPINELLI.com. See you on our next call or on the next episode. And remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on iTunes.